providing resources and comfort to caregivers. This is Caregiver Crossing.
Good day, people. Good day, people.
Get it? Noah's rocking out to my right.
Welcome, each and every one of you to Caregiver Crossing. Thank you for being here. If this is your first time joining us, well, here's what we do. It's called Caregiver Crossing, yes, and this is a show that's brought to you by Joy's House, presented in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We're here every week talking about all things caregiving, and we're friends that are sitting around a table. I'm Terry. That's Tina.
I'm Tina.
That's Noah.
Hello.
Hi.
So when you flub a line like that, are we allowed to make fun of you in the moment?
Yeah.
All right. So I have to tell you, one day I was listening to one of our podcast segments, because Caregiver Crossing, not only radio, but then you can listen to it on podcast. And I was listening to a particular episode, and my 16-year-old daughter was in the car, and I don't know what word I was trying to say, but it was not the word that I said, and we didn't edit it because we didn't need to in the podcast, right? Like, it just rolled. It was from the show. But my daughter would not let it drop, and she was kind of like, you messed up, right? And I was like, it's because we're just talking, and it happens.
I'm human.
Sorry. You're human, right. And you have to laugh about it in that moment.
Oh, well,
you do.
Look at that.
Whoa.
Look
You
at
have
that.
to
What a
laugh
good
at it in the moment.
segue.
Oh, she segued right into the fact that we are talking about nothing better than humor in caregiving.
Got to have it.
We've said it for years, and I know sometimes it sounds cruel, but it's true. If you do not find laughter in caregiving, I might just say laughter in life, then it's just, it's not as much fun of a ride.
Right.
Yeah, and it's hard to sometimes to come. You, in the beginning, you're not quite sure if it's okay to have humor and to laugh. You're not sure, but it really is. I know that I have done that with family members. To brought out the humor to kind of get away from the sadness for a minute.
Right. I'm trying to think. There was one time that I poked fun at something, and my dad didn't think it was funny, and I just said, I see that that's not funny to you. I will not joke about that again. And we let it ride. And it was, nobody was the worse for it. It was fine.
Right.
But there were plenty of other times that we laughed. So, well, let's talk about it. Noah, you've got some great notes here.
Let's talk about it. I mean, I love to laugh. So really for me, every caregiving moment can have a silver lining. I mean, we're going through something really challenging, but there's always a hint of comedy hidden in caregiving. I mean, whether it's a misunderstanding, like a slip up, or something like really, really unexpected, something funny happens. Finding humor in these moments, it doesn't minimize the challenge, but it does make it just a little bit easier to bear.
We laughed a lot when my dad, as we were all caring for Dad, whether that was getting to a hospital or whatever it may be, getting him into a wheelchair and accidentally banging. I mean, my sister and I had some really bad moments of being caregivers if we were at that moment being caregivers. And that included banging his whole body up against trying to make turns in wheelchairs or trying to push him up hills and him sliding back. I mean, we laugh a lot more thinking about it as we remember those times of us being caregivers. We weren't very good at it sometimes. Mom's the best, but my sister and I had some challenges. But we had to laugh about them to make sure that it didn't turn into a really sad, scary moment for Dad.
Right. Well, and I can tell you, as the person who's been in the wheelchair, now, so let's talk about this for just a second. So there was a time, Noah, when I was in chemo, and I was exhausted, right? I mean, my cute little bald head, and I'm just tired.
Yeah.
And I think I'd also shattered my ankle at that time. So I was in a
goodness.
wheelchair.
Yeah.
And my mother-in-law, loved my mother-in-law. And she was a school nurse forever. And so caring is just part of who she is. But she pulled up outside the cancer center in the parking garage, right by the breezeway. And she gets the wheelchair for me, and it's one of the hospital wheelchairs where I couldn't wheel it myself. Somebody behind me has to let go of the brake.
Right.
Long story made short, she says, I'll be right back. And I said, okay. And she gets in the car and drives off. And I didn't realize where she dropped me off was in the middle of where the cars were driving. And so people were having to wait for someone else to go by and drive around me. She just left me sitting there until finally I saw somebody in scrubs and said, Would you mind?
Please
help me.
I can't maneuver behind my back, to get the brake off. And she said, I wasn't going to say anything, but I just drove by you and wondered why you were sitting in the middle of the vehicles.
Goodness. Oh my goodness, wheelchair.
So
I'm sure we've all had a moment with wheelchairs.
You and your sister think you were the worst?
Well, yeah, not great.
I don't know. Nana left me in the middle of the drive
pretty bad.
in my locked wheelchair. Anyway. There is so much about laughter. I mean, it helps us let go of perfection, thinking that we have to have everything perfect, and being so serious that there's this tension that really is just not good,
Yeah.
And if you can't laugh at yourself, that's the thing I found too about being the caregiver. It's not always about laughing about what the other person does. It's laughing at myself.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah, not everything needs to be so serious.
It's so true. We had a guest here at Joy's house named, I'm allowed to say her name, Miss Betty. And I wrote about her actually in my book, Embrace the Imbalance. And Miss Betty called everybody, I'm going to say witch. So everybody was
She
a
called
witch.
everybody a witch.
But it was actually with a B. But everybody was a witch. And
All right.
if she was in a bad mood, right? And she'd be like, go get this, witch. And what are you looking at, witch? And she was just really, we loved her, living with dementia. Oh. And one of our coworkers who had just won her heart, they had a great connection. We voted her most likely to get Miss Betty to do the thing we wanted her to do, which was go and, participate in an activity. And so we said, you go do it. And so she kneels down and very sweet. She was like, Miss Betty, we're going to go get a snack and do this activity. But before we go, I want you to tell me one nice thing. And Miss Betty looks lovingly in her eyes. And she said, you look beautiful, you stupid witch. Now go get me a cookie. It was the best.
Notice she did say something nice.
Oh my gosh.
So be a Miss Betty.
Oh man. Am I the only one that finds it endearing, I guess is the right word, when we hear older people swearing?
Okay, now listen, all you have to do is go on the main floor right now at Joy's house. Somebody will swear about something at some point.
It really does happen. And for those with Alzheimer's, it can be, for some, you've never heard them swear in your life until they have a dementia. And that's an interesting part of the disease.
It's very unsettling for people when that happens, too.
Totally unsettling.
I've just decided to cuss through my entire life.
No surprises. No surprises.
No one will
So
be
there won't
shocked.
be a shock.
I'm actually trying to do a little bit better. God and I are working on that. But
It's very good.
No, I think, Noah, I think this is a great topic that you brought up. We have to find laughter. And if you can't do it yourself, watch something funny on TV. Watch the funny videos about the dogs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just do something that brings a lightness and a laughter. And if your loved one walks out with 3 bras on top of their head instead of, where they're supposed to go, just laugh about it and life goes on. Don't laugh at them. Don't laugh at them. But all right, we got to take a break. We'll be back here in just a moment.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you weekly by Joy's House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We're here every week to bring you support, education, and hopefully a good laugh. Visit joyshouse.org to connect with us, hear past episodes, learn more about caregiver support resources in the community, and much, much more. That website again is joyshouse.org. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing shortly.
We are back on Caregiver Crossing. I'm Tina McIntosh, one of your hosts in studio with
Terry Stacy.
and the wonderful producer.
Noah Taylor.
And we are so thrilled to have somebody that I met quite some time ago at the U.S. Aging Show in Tampa, Florida, and just won my heart. And this person is doing all kinds of good work. Carly is not just an incredible occupational therapist, which we love our OTs around here, but also a true motivator in making homes that are safer and more accessible for people who need it most. They are the director of clinical partnerships at Rosarium Health. And they're bridging the gap between healthcare professionals and life-changing home modifications that make a real difference for caregivers and their loved ones. So, Carly, so glad that you're here with us today.
Yes, of course. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be on the podcast, and I'm really excited to talk about what Rosarium Health does, what we're doing in the space, how we're helping older adults and individuals with disabilities age in place, stay safely in their home. So really excited to talk about it.
Yeah, when you and I met, we talked about occupational therapy and the importance of the work that you're doing. For somebody who might just be tuning in for the first time and doesn't really know what an OT does, can you explain it in very simple terms?
Sure. I think it's a question that all OTs get, when they're like, what does an OT do? And it's like, there's so many things that OTs can do and spaces that we can work in, but basically we help it improve the quality of life. So there's all different aspects in which an OT can work. So if you're working in a hospital, maybe you're helping somebody who just recovered from surgery, helping them with their activities of daily living. So getting dressed, showering, changing, brushing their teeth, anything that you would do in your activity of daily living. If you're working with a child with disabilities, maybe you're helping them with handwriting in school, or helping, a young boy with Down syndrome clean their room, or executive functioning, or communicate with their parents. If you're working with somebody with dementia, right, you'd be working on home safety. So how are they in their home? Do they know how to lock the door? Can they get dressed? How are they communicating with their family? Everything like that. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. But I do want to talk about when you mentioned home safety for caregivers just starting to think about making their home safer and more accessible. What are the first steps that they should take?
So the first steps a caregiver should really think about when making their home more accessible is really think about that person that they're making it accessible for, right? How many steps are there to get in? Are there railings for them to hold on to? How is the lighting? Right? Is there proper lighting in the house? Are there any rugs that are unturned? Are there mats that can be slippery? Even just in the shower, right? When you're showering, there's low cost things that you can get, like a low cost non-slip mat or a grab bar that you can even get from CVS. Just anything where you're getting up, right, or walking around the house should be safe. So if you're getting up from somewhere, is there proper handrails? If you're walking upstairs, is there proper handrails? Is there proper lighting? When you're walking around, are any rugs unturned? And, is the pathway clear when you're walking? Things like that you can really start thinking about.
You are hearing the voice of Carly Weiner, who is occupational therapist and the director of clinical partnerships at Rosarium Health. You talk about even the rugs and the handrails. Why is it that people are so against making those modifications in their homes? Like, I don't want to pull the rug. I remember my dad saying that. I like my rugs. I want my rugs there. Dad, you're going to trip on your rugs. Dad trips on rug. Still wants the rug. Like, why do we get stuck in that mindset? Do you know, Carly?
I think
get in our brains.
Yeah, I think it's common just in general that aging is a very sensitive topic, and just like you're going through the part of your life that you're going through right now without any experience going through what you're going through, your dad was going through what he was going through at that age for the first time, right? So he had no experience on aging before he's going through it, and you have no experience. So how he's dealing with that time in his life is different, and it might be hard to express. So when you're coming in and saying, we need to change this, we need to change that, he's trying to hold on to some sense of control, right, over what's happening, his aging.
That is.
So when you're trying to make, decisions, we want to change this, he's kind of fighting back on this whole idea of change and aging. And not everybody is super receptive to change or listening, especially when it's their kids. They're rarely going to listen to them. You always kind of need a third party to come in and maneuver and kind of grease the wheels on any change that needs to happen.
I hear you say that, Carly, and it makes me think, I saw an Instagram post, it kept popping up in my feed saying, remember, it's your mom's first time living this life too. And
exactly,
you saying that about my dad makes me think of that. And that's a great, great point you make. And we forget, I'm in this industry, and I'm sure, I promise you, before his passing, I didn't think of those things that that you are saying right now. So thank you for the reminder, because I think it's important for us to hear that as caregivers.
Yeah, I do too. Carly,
Yeah.
Oftentimes you'll hear, well, some of these things that can help keep us safe can also cost us a lot of money. And for some, they just don't have that kind of money. What are some of the least, and I think I don't know how much handrails are or those kind of things, but fairly inexpensively you can make changes, I bet.
Yeah, so some of those like non-slip rugs or non-slip mats for the shower can be like $15. Handrails can be $20 from CVS. The kind of suction ones, you do have to be careful, right? Putting in suction handrails, because sometimes they're not the most stable, but they can do, what they're meant to do for a short amount of time. And you can even this is really inexpensive, but you could put colored tape, like masking tape, like at the bottom of stairs, like at the edges, to help somebody who may have poor eyesight.
That's a great
or dementia
idea.
kind of see the difference in the stairs. So you can even do things like that.
You could use painter's tape even, couldn't you?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, painter's tape.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like
I think that's what I meant. Those are really low cost solutions. Even things like changing where the plates are or the cups are so that somebody doesn't have to reach anymore, or like grab it and something can fall on them. Thinking about that, depending on, what type of aging the person is going through in the home. If they're starting to get tremors, it may not make sense to grab for the plate that's on the highest shelf, right? You might want to just keep the plates out, or have a plate that won't crash to the ground and break in a million pieces. Things like that. Those are, things about aging in place safely that we don't normally think about. We always think grab bar, wheelchair ramp. Oh, they're going to redo my whole bathroom, but it's not even that. It's just thinking about how you would baby proof a home, but doing that for when you're aging.
Occupational therapy, if I had the brains to have gone into OT, I would have done that. I love occupational therapy. I know I've had that conversation with people over time that we all have an occupation. It doesn't matter if you're a newborn or if you're 109 years old. Like, we all have an occupation and how you get through the daily things that you do. And so if someone is not familiar, stick around. We're going to talk in this next segment a little bit further about occupational therapy, what Carly and their team are doing there at Rosarium Health, and how you can learn more about that as well. And so I'm really glad that you're here. I think we're going to take a break, and then we'll be back here
Hang on,
in
Carly.
just a moment.
You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you as a service of Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. With locations in Broad Ripple and near the University of Indianapolis campus, Joyce House provides exceptional day services for individuals living with a life-altering diagnosis and compassionate support for family caregivers throughout the community. At Joyce House, we believe that everyone deserves to live their best life, regardless of their abilities. Learn more about our adult day and caregiver support services by calling us at 317-254-0828 or by visiting joycehouse.org today. All right, that web address again is joycehouse.org. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing shortly.
Welcome back to Caregiver Crossing. Terry, Stacy, Tina McIntosh had to dash out for a minute. Noah Taylor is still here producing today's show, and we're thrilled to continue our conversation with Carly Weiner, an occupational therapist, director of clinical partnership at Rosarium Health. Carly, thank you for sticking around. Can we talk about money again? Finances?
Sure.
Okay, let's talk. Let's start
talk
here, because I know that financial concerns, they are a huge barrier for many caregivers. So maybe you could give us some financial options, or are there financial options available to help cover some of the cost of those home modifications we were talking about earlier?
So I do want to talk about some financial options. Depending on your insurance, I think there's, a little bit of misconceptions. I'll try and keep this quick about managed Medicaid and Medicare Advantage. So In the U.S., Managed Medicaid and Medicare Advantage Part C does cover home modifications, but a misconception is that traditional Medicare Part A and B cover home modifications, and that's not true. So the coverage and allowance available for home modifications for Managed Medicaid and Medicare Advantage is plan specific. So it's critical to check with your care case manager to really determine your eligibility. Like in some states, that's $7,500 for a lifetime benefit. Other states, that's $50,000. So you really have to check with your state and your Medicaid plan about what is covered. There are also, different programs. Sometimes there's an MSSP program, which is a multi-purpose senior service program that can help individuals with payments. There is the AAA in your area that can help with. There's Habitat for Humanity that may be able to help. And then there's different websites that actually help you raise money if you really need to. If you're a veteran, the veteran gives up to $12,000 in home modifications. If you're a spouse of a veteran, you may be able to. So really the possibilities could be endless on what you're, able to do in terms of getting help for home modifications. And if you have more questions, you can reach out to me and we can try and help.
Okay, good deal.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
How would people reach out to you if they're interested in learning more?
Yeah, they can just reach out to me, send me an email, Carly at Rosarium, ROSARIUM, as in Mary, health.com.
And then could you tell us the website too, just in case our listeners want to learn any more?
The website is www.rosarium, ROSARIUM, health.com. And they could just go online, our website really, Rosarium Health is a platform that connects individuals who need the home modifications with clinicians to do an assessment if they want that, and contractors to do the work. And I think what's really great about Rosarium Health is a lot of times when you are trying to get a home modification done, you have to call maybe 12 people and try and retell that story of what's going on. On Rosarium Health, you input that story once. We connect you with contractors who are already vetted, who have the right certifications, who can see pictures of your house if you want. And then they call you and set up, a quote or what you'll do to get that work done. And then you really choose without having to reach out to a million people, search the internet. We do that work for you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. I mean, caregivers are already thinking about so much. The last thing on your mind is calling 12 different people for a home modification. Yeah, that's really wonderful.
And comparing prices and, the way that our model is set up, it really helps the contractors kind of lower their price because they want to get chosen. They know that there are other people giving prices, so they'll try and lower it to work with you. And I think, talking with a contractor, asking about payment plans, could be a good idea as well. Just explain your situation and say, look, I really need this, but is there a payment plan that I can go on? Is there a loan that I can get through the credit card company? Things like that. Financing options are really important to think about as well.
Beautiful.
And then, to be honest, one last thing is also if you're young and listening to this right now, start saving now, for when you're older, for when your parents get older. Just a little bit each month goes a long way.
Good. Very good tip.
That is really important.
Yep.
I mean, especially for myself. I'm still in my early 20s, so I think it's really important for me to hear that, you really do need to be preparing for some of these things.
You do. And when you're thinking about moving or going to a house or an apartment, are you on the first floor? How many steps are there to get up to your building? How many steps are there in this new house that you want to buy with your partner, right? Are there 10 steps? Because that's not going to be a house that you can really age in. Is there a bedroom on the first floor? Can there be a bedroom on the first floor? How accessible is the kitchen? What's the bathroom like? Would it need to be redone for a wheelchair one day? Is there a tub that you walk into, that you have to step over to get in, or is it a walk-in shower? A walk-in shower is going to be more accessible in the future. So those are just things that you can think of as you're moving or buying a home as well.
Talk about tech. Let's talk about technology a little bit.
Yes, let's.
Technology is playing such an increasingly important role in healthcare. We do know that. I've been talking to doctors over the last couple of months about AI and what it is doing for them. How is Rosarium leveraging that tech to improve accessibility and support caregivers in the home modification process?
Yeah, so we're using tech to really have a vast network of contractors in our area and then connect you with those contractors. So, we have a really well-developed platform. You can upload pictures on our platform. You can state a million things about your diagnosis or what you're looking for, and we'll send that to the contractor. The contractor can choose you or message you through our platform. So we're really keeping up to date on that tech side for our marketplace for consumers to have a good experience on our platform.
We got to keep
Currently,
up with
we
tech.
don't use. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. It seems like it's a really easy, accessible resource for our aging individuals. I am a little bit curious about how the organizations are vetted, the people who come out to contract.
Yeah, good question. So they're vetted. We have a whole credentialing process. I'm not on the credentialing team, but we have to see, proof of license. We have to have referrals, 3 examples of work. We have to see that they have insurance, and we have to know how long they were in business, among other things, just to make sure that they are actually licensed, and that they are bonded and insured in case something happens, and that we speak into referrals. If it is a new contractor, I think there's a lengthy interview process that we go through, and kind of figure out where they got certified as well. A lot of our contractors also might have a certified living in place specialist certification. So it's not just that they're a general contractor, but they do have the ability to look at a house through the lens of aging in place.
Carly Weiner, occupational therapist, director of clinical partnerships at Rosarium Health, Rosarium Health, rosariumhealth.com. If you'd like to send her a note, Carly at rosariumhealth.com, and she will be glad to answer any question you may have. You're a great guest. Tina thinks the world of you. We do too. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much, everyone. If you have any questions, just reach out to me. Happy to help you or your loved one.
Thank you, Carly.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're listening to Caregiver Crossing, a show designed for family caregivers and the people who love them. Caregiver Crossing is brought to you weekly by Joyce House in partnership with Cardon and Associates. We're here every week to bring you support, education, and hopefully a good laugh. Visit joycehouse.org to connect with us, hear past episodes, learn more about caregiver support resources in the community, and much, much more. That website again is joycehouse.org. All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Caregiver Crossing shortly.
Welcome back to Caregiver Crossing, and thanks for being here. Can't believe it's the end of the hour.
I can't believe it's February. This is crazy.
Of 2025.
Oh, wait. 2020 what?
5.
No.
Yep.
Okay.
Welcome to 2025. So this month we're doing a lot of focusing because it's the month of love. We're focusing on love and the power of community. And I mean, it's something we can't stress enough about how important community is. We know that caregiving, what this show is about, doesn't have to be this journey that you do by yourself, this solitary journey. And so we know that it feels very lonely at times. And there are these small acts of kindness from people around us that can make a huge difference in our world. I mean, it's the little things, right?
Right. It's the little things that make me really happy. It doesn't have to be some grand gesture of love, but it's just knowing that somebody's there and caring for you.
The little things that can have a great impact. Somebody said to me recently, and it just keeps coming up into my spirit. And so whether you are, you're a neighbor or a friend or a family member, or you're just in somebody's moment, like you're at the grocery store by somebody, there's simple, specific ways that you can support caregivers and people in your life. And we want to share a few of those with you.
Yeah, we've got a few of them written down. I'll go ahead and start off with the first one.
Please.
So we've got delivering meals here. cooking can be really stressful. I mean, even just getting ingredients, figuring out what I'm going to cook, I mean, that just takes so much time in itself. Take the burden off caregivers by arranging for meals to be delivered regularly.
Yeah, and I will tell you, as someone who has had a ton of meals brought to me through illnesses, it means so much. The food is important. And it's, for me and my family with my, to share with my mother-in-law or my grandmother-in-law that live with us or my kids when they were little, that means a lot. It's as much the gesture. And when people would call me, Noah, and say, hey, I'm going to run by Meijer. Is there anything you need? I'm like, I actually need bread.
Yeah.
And they would drop off bread. Like, it meant everything to me.
I mean, just to know that they're thinking of you.
Yeah.
I mean, really is
just
special.
even to ask.
Yeah.
Sometimes it was like, no, but the ask meant everything. So I like that one a lot. What's another one?
Another one we've got here, well, actually what we're just talking about is running errands. I mean, you can offer to pick up groceries, medications, or any other necessity, really. Simple errands can be a super time-consuming task.
Yeah, and I would tell you that if you're the caregiver and someone asks you if they can do something and you don't take them up on that, shame on you.
Right.
Like, someone's trying to show you love and they're trying to help you out. So don't hesitate to be like, yes, I need you to pick up Depends, or I need you to pick up, that loaf of bread or some flowers.
Yes, it's so okay to ask. If they're offering you're not even asking for help. You're just,
yes.
Yeah.
This one, I think the next one is a little more involved, and that's providing transportation, because that is a huge thing and can mean a lot of different things. If you're talking about somebody maybe living with dementia that you're offering the transportation to, or living with some kind of a physical diagnosis where there's a wheelchair involved, or there's, you need accessibility, it does get a little bit different.
Yeah. I mean, even with those things, you'd need kind of maybe a special car too.
I mean, maybe they might fit in your trunk, but you're not used to it. It's just not your normal kind of a thing. So, but transportation, even for the caregiver, is a big deal. Sometimes it's just the company in the car. Right. So I like that one too. What's next?
All right. We've got offer a caregiving break. A volunteer just to sit with the person being cared for a couple of hours so the caregiver can take a break. Maybe they want to get out of the house for a second, take a walk, take a shower, just be outside for a second.
Take a shower.
And let them have that break. Yeah.
Just go be by yourself.
Yeah.
Go be by yourself and not have to worry. So, and then the last one is send a regular check-in message. And that can be something as quick as a call, or it can be a quick text. How are you doing? It shows people that they're not forgotten, and it creates a safe space. I'm kind of giggling because I had one of my dear friends, I had sent her a message twice in the last 2 weeks just saying, hey, I'm doing a mental health check-in. And she was like, what does that mean? And I was like, I'm checking in on your mental health. But somebody did that to me not too long ago, and it really, really touched me.
Yeah, that's so sweet.
Mental health check-in. And I was like,
yeah. They're really
kidding?
Thinking about how you're feeling.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So just a little mental health check-in with somebody.
That's so sweet.
Unless your friend doesn't like that, and then don't do that. So,
and then leave them alone.
The big thing that you're going to start to hear us talk about here, we talk about purpose all the time. You're really going to hear us start to talk about communities and what community means for people, and how we at Joy's House, who are the hosts of Caregiver Crossing, again, Tina, Noah, hey, and how that can take many different forms in community, and how we can age well together. And so whether that's a really close-knit neighborhood, which I've been blessed to be a part of that, I also am used to then now living in a place where I don't have that close-knit neighborhood, right? So it's different, but I can find my community in my church group. I can find it at work, my family and friends. It's as much about who I let in as who wants to be in.
Right.
If that makes sense.
I think that wanting to be in too is so, so important. I mean, if somebody doesn't want to be in your community.
And that's okay.
Right. That's so, yeah.
Right?
I mean, if you're asking for help, I mean, there's a lot of time and things that they need to dedicate to you. So it is okay.
Yep. And it's important that we create an environment where people can come together and practically help. It's a relationship, right? And have that emotional support without overwhelming anybody involved, because I will take advantage of you until you tell me to stop. So I know we have to close out here. If people want to get in touch with us, Noah, to give us ideas for the show, maybe people for the show, if you're going through a thing and you want to ask us, we will do our best to be here for you and help you, or point you in the direction of somebody else. And so how can they get in touch with us?
You can get in contact with us for more information and resources to help you through the journey of caregiving at 317-254-0828, or by visiting our website, joyshouse.org. Caregiver Crossing is supported by Cardon and Associates, with 20 communities owned, operated, or managed in the Midwest, and more than 4 decades of senior living experience. Cardon and Associates provides residents with the best senior living options and personalized service.
Hey, and I've had people ask me, they've said something about like, how's your podcast? I'm like, well, it's a radio show, but it is a podcast too, right?
Yeah, we're doing both right now.
Yeah. So if wherever you listen to podcasts, you can put in Caregiver Crossing and it'll pop up. I actually really enjoy going back and listening to some of the segments again, not being a host or being involved actively in the conversation, but afterward, I feel like I pick things up.
Active listener.
Yeah. So I would encourage you, not only thank you for being here with us on Sunday mornings, or wherever you are at whatever time, but the podcast, you can listen to us at 2 a.m.
Anytime. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, on the treadmill.
Yes. Anywhere you go, we
Yes.
can go too. So Caregiver Crossing, we're just so glad that you are a part of our community here, and we want to be as supportive and helpful as you need. So don't ever hesitate to reach out. Again, the phone number is 317-254-0828. You're always welcome to email at tina@joyshouse.org. All right, I think that's all we've got for today.
Until next time, take good care of each other.